What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another prospect profile video. And in this video we are looking at Epenesa. So let's get it started. That's Epenesa. I used to say Epenesa. I don't know what was wrong with me. It's Epenesa, guys. This is a defensive end that currently plays for Iowa. He is a junior, and he's one of the most talented players coming out of college football, and he's one of the highest prospects that people have been looking at. One of the highest defensive end prospects for sure. A Big Ten player, very talented. Should he be a Detroit Lion? Let's get into it. So if you're not a Lions fan and you're a fan of just some other team, that's cool. You can still talk about Epenesa, think of what your team needs, and think about if this guy would fit that team, okay? So let's get it started. So starting off with Epenesa, he is a 6'6", 280-pound junior defensive end out of Iowa. He's a monster, okay? He's super powerful. He's a freak. Looking at his pros, he is extremely powerful, okay? He's a long guy, 6'6", got a long wingspan, and those two things go a long way when you are a defensive end. A guy that's an edge rusher, someone on the defensive line that's trying to get pressure, going against some of those big offensive linemen, those offensive tackles, very important to be like that. And some people have even said this guy throws around offensive tackles like rag dolls. Yeah, super powerful, and that's like his main thing. He's also very schematically versatile. What I mean by that, yes, big words, I got it. He can play in both the 3-4 defense and the 4-3 defense on the defensive line, okay? He can do both. He's very versatile in that manner. Now, could he definitely go switch to another position like linebacker? Probably not. But on the defensive line, he can move around a little bit to the point where he's enough versatile that he can play in both the 3-4 and the 4-3, which is super important. Now, one thing that I love about this player when I was looking at him was his ability against the run. I think it's super important to have a defensive lineman, especially a defensive end, that can stop the run. I think this is one of the most overlooked things when you talk about defensive ends, because every time someone's talking about an edge rusher, they want to talk about the sacks, the hurries, the fumbles. What can he do off of the edge to get pressure? And why, yes, that is a huge part of it. It's also a huge part that you can stop the run, because if you can't do that, then you're going to get beat by a lot of teams. And setting the edge is super important. And if defensive end can do that, it's huge to contain and push the running back into the middle of the field where most of your defense is. And not only that, but making tackles on the edge or making tackles even on the inside, trying to come through one of your gaps, super important. And that's one thing that Epenesa has as a defensive end that sticks out to me and maybe not a lot of other people, that is very important. Now, one thing he does do very well is bull rush. Like I said, he's long and powerful. Those are his two things that stick out. And his bull rush is a big reason that those two things are a thing, right? The bull rush basically demonstrates his powerfulness and his longlessness. Let's not act like those are words. Okay, no, but seriously, he's got a great bull rush, and that's his main move. That's the main thing he goes to. Like I said, he can throw offensive linemen around like ragdolls. The only problem is, like with other players, maybe he's a little bit limited on moves, and that's something that you have to keep an eye out for. Now, he does have the ideal size, like I said, 6'6", 280 pounds. This is an ideal size for an edge rusher. It really is. A defensive end, this is a very good size. Maybe a little bit bigger than usual, actually. But the fact that he is athletic enough to help and stop the run is very important. Very good size and very powerful, I guess I would say. You know what? Let's think of a different word. Very muscular, I guess I would say. And finally, he's got a very good awareness when it comes to pressuring the quarterback. One thing that I saw about Epenesa that I really liked and that you should be taught, and I'm assuming he was taught at Iowa, was to always go for the ball when he's rushing. Epenesa is always looking for the strip when he's rushing, because sometimes he can't get there, but that one arm can, and you hit the ball, and it's a huge play. He made a couple of those big plays with Iowa, and that's one thing that I really like to see out of him. He kind of reminds me of Trey Flowers in the aspect that he doesn't have tons of different moves, but he's crazy powerful, he's strong, not the most extremely fast guy, but he can bull rush, and it reminds me a lot of Trey Flowers. Now, looking at some of his cons, unfortunately, there are a few of them. The first one is he's not a speedy edge rusher. Sometimes you think about edge rushers and you think of one of the fastest players on your defense. That's not going to be Epenesa. It won't be. If you're looking for a guy that's super quick in the 40, that's going to get off the line and explode, that's probably not Epenesa. I'm just saying, he's not that guy, okay? He's powerful, you know, he's that, but he's not super speedy, okay? He's not the speed rusher, I guess you would say. He's a bull rusher, okay? You think of a bull, okay? Think of a chicken and think of a bull. Which is faster? Actually, I don't know. The bull might be faster than the chicken. Think of a puma. A puma. I don't know why that word's so funny. Think of a puma and think of a bull. I think the puma's faster. He's more of the bull, okay? He's not super speedy. If you want speedy, he's not the guy. Next up, little secondary moves. This is a problem. Usually when his first move doesn't work, his secondary move is go-to after that. isn't very good. And that's something that he has to work on, because after that first failure, he's not very good at getting back into it with a good secondary move. He's also can stutter off of the release. Like I said, this guy's not going to surprise you with his explosiveness, his speed, his crazy acceleration. That's not AJ Epenesa. That's just not him. He can stutter off the line, he can be slow off the line, but he's strong as heck, okay? He's strong as a mule. What did they say? No, it's a mule. Is it an ox? Strong as an ox and the mule? That's not a thing. Stop. What is that book called? I can't think of it. He's not extremely agile. But he also did go to Iowa. So what were you expecting? I'm sorry. That was just for that Iowa. That was too far. I'm sorry. We have Hawkinson on our team. I got to stop talking like this. I'm sorry, okay? Michigan fan. I'm sorry. No, but seriously, that's just not the kind of player he is. And that's something that maybe you want as an edge rusher, okay? Maybe you're looking for one of those guys that are speedsters, that are acceleration, that are get there quickly. That's not Epenesa. Now, is he slow? No, he ain't like no slow tortoise, but he ain't that, okay? He's more of a powerful type of guy. And trust me, I think he would definitely help with the Lions, but I don't think he's that guy that's like, oh yeah, this guy's going to completely change this defensive line. I think he'd improve it. I think he'd add depth. I think he would add production. But I don't think he would be a guy that's a superstar playmaker that's like, well, dang, watch out for AJ. But I definitely could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. Looking at his stats for his 3 main years, looking at his stats at Iowa, starting off in his first season with Iowa, where he had 15 total tackles, 7 assists, 4.5 sacks. Okay. Then in his second year, 2018, 37 tackles, 16 assists, 10.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. He really came alive in his second year, in his sophomore year with Iowa. He also had 4 pass deflections, which is very nice. And then finally in his junior year, which is this year, I keep thinking it's junior year, 45 tackles, 16 assists, 9 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 3 pass deflections. So sophomore year, junior year, very similar for AJ Epenesa. He's constantly around a 10-sack type of guy. Now keep in mind, he's also playing college teams. Now he's in the Big Ten, so he does face some big challenges. But he also plays some teams like Miami that aren't challenges. Not Miami Hurricanes, not Miami of Ohio. I'm serious, y'all. It happened. It's nothing against AJ Epenesa, but he's just not that superstar playmaker in my eyes. Would he help with this defensive line, especially if there's injuries? Absolutely. Could he grow into a very phenomenal production type of player that we can rely on? Absolutely. But do I think he is that X factor? No, I do not. And that's no hate on him, because I could be completely wrong by that one, okay? If you look at his stats, they're not bad. They're solid. They're not going to blow you away. He's not the kind of player that's going to that's like, oh my gosh, this guy is extremely athletic. He's just not that guy. He's a bull rush guy. He's good on the edge, and that's what he is, and that's okay. Now, now when I think about AJ Epenesa is this: I think the Lions could potentially get up to about the 3rd pick. Okay, maybe there's possibilities for the 2nd. Okay, stuff like that. I think there's a good chance Lions do have the 3rd pick. Let's say, for example, Lions have the 3rd pick in the draft by the time it becomes draft time. If the Lions sit at the 3rd spot, maybe possibly AJ Epenesa is one of those guys that you could trade down, let's say, to number 9 or number 10. Say you trade down 6 or 7 spots and you're able to pick up AJ out of Iowa. Now you added an edge rusher and you gained additional picks. You're going to get a lot of picks from dropping 6 spots because you were at the 3rd spot. Because most likely the 2 guys, if Chase Young goes into the draft, would be Young and Burrow, and then whoever else anybody else wants. That would be a team trading up with you. So I think you could get a lot of return. But this is not a guy I would take at number 3. If you're sitting at number 3, I would not take AJ. I just don't think I would. Now if you trade back and you get other things in return, maybe he's your guy. But I wouldn't take him at number 3. Because, he's sitting there. I wouldn't do that. He's going to sit there. Maybe some team will reach on him. Heck, last year I thought Clelin Ferrell was going to maybe not go in the 1st round. Dude went like 4th. I don't know. I don't think the Raiders made the right choice there. Obviously, Josh Allen has been balling, and he went after him. So I don't know. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. I just don't think Epenesa is that guy that necessarily you want to go super high on, but I don't think he's a bad player either. I think these guys can be very productive, help out, especially with all these injuries. Some of these guys are starting to age. He'd be another young asset that could stay here for a while. He would be helpful, and we need the pressure, so I would have no problem with doing it. I just wouldn't want to do it at number 3, okay? If you're going to pick him at number 3, I may not love that. Now, who knows? I could be wrong. He could blow me away with production, but I just wouldn't do it that early. But let me hear your thoughts, comments below. Thank you, Pride, for watching, and I'm out.